So this is my review or AV comparison of the DemonFX and the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. Obviously, the DemonFX is a Chinese clone of the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. Now, to cut it long story short here, what do I think of the two of them? Do I think that the DemonFX is a clone of it that is really close? Yes, I do. The only differences I'm really hearing between the two, with the exact same settings and everything, is this is doing more low-mid, this is doing more high-mid boosting. And that could really just come down to tolerances of the pots and the parts that they used. So I would say that you could really just say this is two comparisons of the same pedal. And from this point on, it will. Now, if you want to go into the debate on whether or not it's ethical to support a Chinese-made clone or not, that's a different discussion. Although I will say, on a scale of 1 to Behringer, I don't know where DemonFX reigns when it comes to how well they treat their staff. So that's up to you to argue about in the comments, because I don't care. What we're looking at right now is this a cheap alternative to the now $180 on the used market pedal? I think so. And I'm going to go over some of the details of how close it gets. First of all, how close does it get on the noise gate that everyone loves, and by that I mean finds pretty much useless. Here is the original without the gate on. So bear in mind, I have my Decimator ProRack G on. That's going to stay on for this whole thing. So that's in the front of the amp and the back of the amp. The amp is my Randall Warhead X2, also on the red channel, and as you can hear without the pedal on, nice and flubby. My guitar is another Chinese counterfeit. It is a knockoff of the MX250 ESP. It's got EMGs in it, and it is tuned down to A sharp standard. Actually tuned down this time too, because, side tangent, the Digitech Whammy and the Digitech drop, whenever I would use a pedal like this to boost it, would get a cocked wah sound. So I'm tuning it down naturally this time for this demo. So really quickly, here is with the gate all the way on. Seems to cut it off just fine. I mean, it's not going to work as a good front gate, but it kind of works as a good complement to a gate if you already have that dialed in, because it makes stuff like this better. And just for comparison, here it is with that off. I feel like it cuts off just a little bit more of that clank you get when you're trying to do staccato stuff. Now, one of the other key differences is, and yes, you're gonna have to deal with my feet, fucking cry about it, is that, just a little visual thing, the DemonFX has a red indicator, this has a blue indicator, and something else I think is actually pretty cool, the DemonFX, the gate actually will go with the tracking, so it kind of creates this cool little visual effect. Whereas with the original, it's just on the whole time. Or it's on whenever, you know, you're not playing. I got a comment on my YouTube review of this pedal from a while ago, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the person who asked this. He was asking if my DemonFX was really noisy too, and I thought it was as well, until I noticed this. So this is the DemonFX, you know, here, I actually turn the gate off so you can hear how noisy it is. So that's not really a noisy pedal. I mean, here's a Boss Metal Zone. Because, and that's me blowing the volume pot off, I was hearing this. And that is my Digitech Whammy 1. So yet another reason why that pedal is not worth $600. The Whammy 4 gets just as glitchy as that does. Which again, this is what you want a Whammy for anyway. If I had it on. And it's not as noisy. The main reason I keep mine on my board is because it's a smaller footprint, and I do admit it just looks way cooler. Yeah, whoever that was, check your signal chain. It might just be another pedal that's making it a lot noisier. In my case, it was a Whammy pedal. So now the Whammy pedal is off. Quick thing I'll get into, because long story short, I think it's a close enough pedal, and it's definitely, in my opinion, worth more to pay $60 over $180 to $200. But I might eventually get one just because I prefer to support the original people who made it, even though it is just a tube screamer clone with a built-in MXR smart gate. But I digress. I'm going to show you two ways that I dial it in. This is my kind of uniform way of dialing it in. So on a tube screamer layout, this would be your overdrive, this will be your balance, this will be your tone, and this is kind of a voice changer for the tone. It basically adds in more mid presence. And even though I'm in A sharp right now, I like it only on the technically third setting, kind of that first one is the default spot. So that's how I normally dial these in. And as you can hear, tightens it up amazingly. I mean, that it does exactly what you want it to. And again, even though the gate, in my opinion, is not good, it's only good as a complement to a better gate. It works well for cutting staccato stuff off. And it's not really getting in the way of note sustain for me. Let me make that sound cooler, actually. is the main way that I dial it in. By the way, that's with just the Horizon devices boosting that. So this is the other way I've seen people dial it in. So you take this all the way down, put this all the way up. That's kind of your default Tube Screamer style tone. I'm going to leave these where they are, but let's compare them really quickly to how traditional to how I dial it in. And again, since this is the same pedal, we can do that. So the reason I prefer that way of dialing it in is because when you add in a little bit more of the drive as it is on the pedal, it feels like you're adding in some more compression because you're adding, you know, distortion or overdrive, whatever you want to call it, besides just clean output. That being said, there's not really much more for me to add to this besides they're both good pedals. Feel-wise, when you're turning them on and off, I mean, this one feels better, it just has better quality pots and jacks. Again, though, I prefer how this turns on and off with the tracking. That's just a visual thing, though. The MXR is a little bit smaller. This is more akin to a, like, well, the MXR standard shape, so it's more like the, when I think of like the 6-band shape. Whereas this is a little bit chunkier. It's kind of like a Boss shape, or Boss size, without the, you know, ramp to turn it on and off. Other than that, yeah, they're both good pedals, and they both do exactly what they're supposed to do. I haven't had any issues with my DemonFX yet, but I also haven't gigged with it yet, so that's to be foretold. So yeah, I'll just leave you with some more playing, and I'll kind of switch back and forth between the two.